In this video, we're going to briefly go through how to draw the best fit line or curve for practical. Now in general, after you have completed the table, the question will tell you to plot the best fit line or curve based on your data in the table. And if they tell you to draw a best fit line, so you just take it literally like that, or if it's a curve, then it will be a best curve. So your curve will be curving this way or down this way, or best fit line is one single line. So definitely it's not joining all the crosses with straight lines or joining all the crosses with a S-shaped kind of curve. So this is definitely not the case. Please remember that. Now another thing is, what if the question never tell me draw a best fit line or best fit curve? Then maybe you can continue to read the question, and one hint to you is when they ask you to find the gradient of the graph. If that's the case, this will give you a hint that it is a straight line. If not, really it based on all the crosses. If it's to your own judgment is a curve, very obviously it's a curve, then you just draw a curve. Or if it's a more or less a straight line, then you just draw a line. Now another thing that students like to ask is there a minimum number of points that I must pass through, or do I really need to pass through the first and the last point? The answer is no. Even if it doesn't pass through any of the crosses that you have, is perfectly fine, as long as your best fit line or curve is being fair to all points and it follows the general trend of the crosses. So let's include a ruler here, and for this example here, all the 6 crosses are relatively in a straight line, so it's quite easy. But if you place a ruler here, you can see that these 4 points are along the ruler, very nice straight line. But you are not supposed to draw the best fit line based on this 4, because you're totally ignoring these 2 points here. So the best fit line for this case will be somewhere, okay, so I adjust the ruler, use a transparent ruler, which is easier for you. So somewhere in between. Can you see in this case, it doesn't pass through any of the points, but it's fine. That is my best fit line. Okay, so can draw it this way. Now another question that students like to ask is, do I need to pass through the origin? Now the priority is based on your points, based on your data, because there may be some limitation to the experiment setup that you have. And even though in theory you know that when there's no x, there's no y, it should pass through 0, but don't do that. Based on your data, based on your crosses, do not based on your theory. But if let's say this is really your existing crosses, and you know that 0, 0 is kind of a sheer pass-through point, then maybe you can more or less adjust. For example, for all this, it is still okay if I were to pass through the origin. So if this is your graph, then you conclude that y is directly proportional to your x. So but what if my points were to be along here, and I draw my best fit line, and I know that 0, 0 should be a sheer pass-through point, but you do not care about your theory, you just draw your best fit line. And if that's the case, you will conclude that y is linearly related to x. So both are straight lines, but the conclusion for the relationship between y and x are different. Now let's go to the next example. So you can see that for this example here, the crosses are all more or less scattered. It's not really a very nice straight line, but nonetheless you know that it's a straight line, or they tell you that it's a straight line. So what you can do is, I put my ruler against here. Now for example, these 3 are more or less straight, you're not supposed to follow. Likewise for these 3 here, and it's not about first and last. So but for this case is you can, because you're being fair to all points when you put your ruler as such, and then you draw your best fit line over here. So you follow the general trend of all the crosses that you have. For this third example, you can see that the first 3 points crosses are rather straight, and likewise for the last 3, but they are not really in line. So how do I draw the best fit line? So if you were to just base on this tree and then you draw your best fit line this way, it's very obvious that it's wrong because you're totally ignoring these 3 points. And these 3 points towards the end is higher than your best fit line. And so the trend is actually going up, yet you did not take that into consideration. So this is wrong. So how should the best fit line be? So take your ruler and being fair to all points and take into consideration the general trend. Now, of course, this is to your best judgment. If you put it here this way, put it here this way, it's all fine as long as the general trend is there. So for example, this will be my best fit line where some points are above, some are below, but the general trend of all the 6 crosses is along here. So that will be my best fit line. Now in this fourth example of a best fit line, you can see that once again the points are a bit scattered, not really a perfect straight line. But if you pay close attention, the first 2 and the last 2 seems to be very in line. Or rather, if you can look at this 4 here, they are rather in the straight lines, just that this last 2 is not really in line with the rest. So how do you do it? The common mistake by student is actually to place the ruler just based on this 4, which seems to be very straight, so they draw it this way. And this is wrong because you're totally ignoring, very obviously you're ignoring these 2 points, which is much higher than your best fit line. So you're ignoring these 2, so that's not being fair. Likewise, some student may place the ruler here and thinking that this 4 crosses is like very nice straight line, and then they draw the straight line this way. So once again, this will be wrong because the general trend, the last 2 points, the crosses are lower than your best fit line. So the trend is obviously somewhere around here, and yet you totally ignore these 2 points. So that won't be the general trend of the crosses. So that's wrong also. So how should the best fit line be? So to be fair to all points, okay, so since most are along this line, so I need to take into consideration these 2 points, so maybe the best is actually, to be fair, it doesn't pass through any points, yet this will be my best fit line, because if you can see, this is the general trend of the points. To my best ability, that will be my best fit line. In this next example, you can see once again the points are scattered. So let's first assume if you are required to draw the best fit line and this is all your crosses and that's the best you can do. So how do you draw the best fit line? So once again, you're not supposed to just follow the trend of the first 4 and then draw it like that. And likewise, okay, cannot just draw it this way because you're ignoring all those 3 points that is higher up over here. So the best fit line, I know the crosses are quite bad, but to be fair, so the best fit line should be somewhere along here. So that's the best you can do, and then you continue on to find your gradient or whatever. So if that's worst come to worst. But what if for this experiment you're required to draw the best fit curve? So to draw the best fit curve, so you put your palm over this region here, so that some of you may want to use flexible curve, so it's really up to you. I'll prefer the freehand. So the best fit curve will be somewhere around here. Okay, you're being fair to all points, and this is the general trend of it. So what if some student will go and draw it this way and then go up here? So these 2 points will be 2 below your best fit curve, and as you know, the trend is more lower actually, not higher up. So the black curve is wrong. Alright, so in general, that will be the best fit curve that you should draw. In this next example here, all the crosses are scattered along here, and let's assume you're required to draw the best fit line, and you take out the ruler, and if you were to just, because these first 5 crosses, they kind of seems to be in a straight line, and if you just draw your best fit line just like that, then that will be considered wrong because you're totally ignoring this point over here, and the trend is going this way. So that will not be the best fit line. And so our best fit line have to take into consideration all points. So this might be a better choice for your best fit line. So what if this is a curve? They tell you to draw the best fit curve. So likewise, you put your palm over this side and then follow the general trend, even though it doesn't pass through any of the crosses. So this will be a best curve to follow the general trend of all your crosses. All right. In this example, let's assume you're going to draw the best fit curve. So what if you just draw the best fit curve along here and then it goes down this way? It seems correct, but if you pay a close attention, especially to the last 3 points here, all these 3 points crosses are above your best fit curve, and that means to say you're ignoring the trend of this tree because it's going somewhere around here. So definitely this is not the best fit curve. So what you should do is take into consideration all crosses. So you draw your curve this way, and then after that try to go in between the points. So to my best ability, that should be the general trend of the curve following all my crosses. So in this last example, okay, maybe let's say you're supposed to draw the best fit line. So if that's the case, you should actually place your ruler. So once again, you should not just follow all these first 5 crosses. You have to take into consideration the last one. So the general trend should be maybe somewhere around here to be fair. So that will be my best fit line to my best ability. But what if this is a best fit curve? So it seems like a straight line, but the question says that it's a curve. So I know that the trend is going down this way. So my curve will be going down, curving down this way. So I will be drawing the best fit curve this way and being fair to all points. And in general, to my ability, that is the best fit curve to suit all the crosses. So I hope after this video, you will roughly have a rough idea how to draw the best fit line or best fit curve.